Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today's episode is more than just a sentencing. It's a lesson in what happens when your attitude becomes part of the problem. The defendant is in court for domestic violence charges, but instead of showing remorse, he throws in some offhand remarks about women and his role at home. The judge isn't amused. She called him out, not just for his actions, but for his mindset. This case is a clear example of how the wrong words can have serious consequences in court.
On the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Joseph Gordon, 24-02115, counsel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Case Mark Darian, appearing on behalf of the people, first making a motion to practice under Michigan Court Rule number 8.120.
Motion granted.
Good morning, Your Honor. Robert Andres, appearing on behalf of Joseph Gordon.
Okay, Mr. Gordon, today's the date set for sentencing, and the court does have a pre-sentence report, as well as a memorandum. Let's see. And the report was prepared on September 12th, 2024. Counsel, did you get a copy of that?
Yes, we did, Your Honor. I provided to my colleagues and my clients.
Okay. Any reason to make corrections, updates, or deletions?
His job, he now has an additional job at Magna Delta Exterior Systems, in addition to the Burger King jobs as well.
You said Magna Delta.
Exterior Systems.
Okay. Okay, I'll note that on the record. Any additional updates? You can make allocution.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Gordon is a very industrious person. As you can see, he's already been working multiple jobs, and then he added another one to the mix. As you saw in the character letter from Mr. Kellogg, who's actually here in the courtroom as well today, he's been a hard worker for many years. He takes supporting his family seriously. He's has sole custody, both legal and physical custody of his oldest son, and he has two children at this point in time, along the way, and he takes supporting them seriously. He's been involved in programming at Crystal Ray and is now continuing that type of programming at PATS, which is a place where he better intervention program, which is contemplated in our Kilbrew agreement with prosecution. And I believe that if he were given an opportunity through probation to complete that program, the person on the other side of that may have a lot of skills that he doesn't really have. But he has been, as you saw from Ms. Brown's letter, and she's done it as well. I would like them to speak. So in her letter, when they have had issues, he's separating himself from those issues. He's not acting the same way as before. And that's important to see growth in somebody. The probation officer's understanding of their relationship and things was made through a Zoom communication. So I think sometimes when people have inside jokes and things like Ms. Brown and Mr. Gordon have and things, some of that gets lost in translation through a screen. And I think that wasn't understood. And I think that's why there's some of those comments in there the way they are. His past behavior, both on parole way in the past, as well as probation 5 years ago, and then as well as behavior on bond, where he has made his bond conditions, show that he would be able to obey the court's orders on probation. He had no issues with tether when it was on, and never violated. So he also paid the tickets. I think at the very beginning of the case, the magistrate had asked him to pay some tickets. We do have a receipt from that we paid yesterday. Just some parking tickets, and they were paid. Your Honor, would like to see that, I can provide that before.
I don't need to see it.
Okay. So he just, everything that the court has asked him to do, he has done. He intends to continue doing that. So just respectfully request that you follow the Kilbrew agreement and give an opportunity to intervention program that we've discussed with the prosecution. And I know Mr. Gordon has some things he'd like to share as well.
You can just watch the side.
Oh, I think that I just want to be there for my kids. I'm not gonna say. I mean, I know I pleaded no contest, but like some of that stuff was relevant, you know what I'm saying? We were arguing, we were going back and forth, but really it's because I was always gone. You know, I was sleeping 4 hours a night, I come back, house is not clean, I'm running my mouth, you know what I'm saying? But since then, I just been leaving lately, and she know I'm not like going nowhere. I go to the car wash up the street from my house and just sit there with the car on. There's two things that the probation guy said that I didn't agree with. I said that I don't beat my kids, and I said that if I did, they would probably, you know, not act up. But I said it like as a joke. He put it in there like I just put him in the corner. I don't never do nothing to him. You know what I'm saying? It didn't work for me. I got, you know, the general extension cords, all that stuff when I was growing up. It didn't work. I still went and did what I did. So, and the second thing was he said something else. I can't remember, but really just the part about the kid. It was just like a joke because when I first talked to him, he said he remembered me when I worked at Penn Station. So we started laughing and joking, and then my girlfriend was on camera as well. And I was like, why? Just the part about the child specifically. I just don't. And I made a joke like if I did, maybe it wouldn't. But
What portion of the pre-sentence interview did you think was in jest, or an environment that you should make jokes? Why would you not take this seriously?
well, we were on a Zoom. I had it in the kitchen, like on my thing, and he asked me about my children, you know, and I always, because at the beginning of this there was some CPS involved, you know, because of the argument in front of the kids. And I was just letting him know, I said, man, I don't beat my kids, they're well taken care of, you know, and then I just said that latter part, and then he started laughing as well. And then when he wrote that in the report, you know, I just, you know, I'm not that guy at all.
You also indicated you made some inappropriate comments regarding women in general.
About the working thing?
You tell me,
Okay, so when I made the statement, I pulled her on camera.
what
You know,
statement?
I made a statement of I'm the only one who works in the house. And when we had a no contact order, I was doing everything.
But what did you say about women in general?
I don't think I said anything. I don't think he said what I said.
This is what he says. He says, "Defendant made inappropriate comments regarding women in general that make this officer believe that he's not willing to change." So what this reads to me is that he believes you have a mindset, which he talks about in the last paragraph. Typically, individuals who engage in domestic violence actions against women have a mindset issue about women. And so he's saying you made some inappropriate comments regarding women that make him believe that your mindset is that you're not willing to change. You perceive women maybe less than you, maybe that you should be in control over them, or something was said that made him feel like it was inappropriate and that you would not otherwise be a good candidate for probation because you don't have a mindset to be properly placed on probation. I'm trying to figure out what the mindset is.
I said that she doesn't work. And then I pulled her over to me because she's been a stay-at-home mom for like 5 years, but I didn't know how rough it was until she was gone. And it was like a joke. And then she was like, I don't work. And then she came on camera. But like when she was gone, like I used to be gone at work all day and I would come home and be like, well, like you didn't get this done, like you didn't get this done. And now I see why you can't get through half a movie, you can't get through nothing. And that's what I was telling her through text messages and everything. Because when she was gone, it was just me. It wasn't easy, you know, all the financial, I couldn't pay the board of water and light. She did all that stuff. She did all that. School, everything. She handled all the business.
Administrative stuff while you made the money.
Right, and I didn't.
So you discredited her role in the house.
Yeah, I did. I just didn't think in 16 hours you couldn't do some stuff that can't be done, but it can't be done. Can't be done. Right. I mean, I'm not laughing, and it's.
Well,
the bath, the
yeah,
food,
taking care of the children.
yeah,
I don't know how many children you have.
I have 2.
You have 2 children?
Yes.
Okay.
And I had them both, and I was still like doing everything, and she's always had them both. You know, as of 2022, when I had my second child, she had them both. You know, and I used to be like, well, did you call this person? Did you call that person? Because when I'm at work, I can't get on my phones. I don't have service, all that. So I told her, even in text messages when we were gone, you know, when she was gone, I was like, look, I was wrong about that. Like specifically about, it's just not easy. She knows.
Okay, I don't know, anything else that you wanted to add to?
That's her, no,
No, add anything else you wanted to add?
no.
Okay, and did the alleged victim want to, or the victim at this point, want to make a statement? Mr. Mercury?
So, Your Honor, yeah.
She's gonna come up. This way. Come up this way. Okay, your name, ma'am? Caitlin Brown, okay, and what did you want to share?
I mean, he pretty much said it all. He's covered everything. Taking care of the kids was hard. He did see that. He's admitted that multiple times over the course of me being back in the house. I see the way he interacts with the boys. My 2-year-old is obsessed with him. So, and then like the lawyer said, I do have another one on the way, so that would be the third one. I have noticed throughout the classes and going through all this court stuff, his attitude and his demeanor have changed a lot. So he is really trying to change.
Okay, I've read your statement that you provided to the court, which is consistent with what you're stating here now. Anything else you wanted to add, ma'am?
Other than the fact that our communication has gotten better.
Okay, I reviewed the pre-sentence report and the recommendation. I think I've indicated to you just by my questions what the concerns that I had were. Your criminal history, I mean, I've seen worse. And I recognize that the probation officer indicated that you would not be a good candidate because you recently have done a term of probation. I see a 2019 case similar to this.
That's the one he's referring to there.
That's what I would assume. Did he give probation for that?
Yes.
Okay, it's
I
not
had-
noted here. It
I
just says fines and
had
costs.
classes, I had to do a sort of offender on Mondays, and I had to do quite a bit of drops. I had to do like a lot.
And were you successfully discharged?
Yeah, they let me off early. I did the classes. Sound kind of messed up, but if you look at my criminal history, like my criminal history was always with like money and stuff like that. You know, I got out the joint like 2016 August, and I went to work for Mr. Kellogg and his wife, and then I started at 890. I became the general manager. It just took me out of all the. I had never really worked. I'd always done like street stuff. So now I've got taxes and everything, and I've been on that path ever since. But I think like all those jobs, all the stress, like it was a lot. But the bills are the bills.
Mr. Kellogg is here in support of you. Counsel, I see your name was mentioned. It was nice of you to come and support him. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be quite frank, even with the concerns that the probation officer has stated, you're someone who has about 3 jobs right now. You're staying busy. It's never in the court's interest to try to remove you from that and cause you to lose your job. It would always be my inclination to first give you an opportunity to show me that this is the time that you have decided to make a change. I don't know what the comment was. It wasn't stated specifically in the pre-sentence report that made the officer feel like your comments about women was inappropriate. I don't know what it was. You examine what you said, and you examine your mindset and you make a change. Because whether I put you in jail or whether I put you on probation, until you make that change about how you perceive women in their roles, you may continue to find yourself back here unless you make a change there. I don't know what it was. And then also understanding that when you're in the middle of a pre-sentence interview, I don't know if you're nervous, I don't know what's going on. That's not a time to make jokes. Because the officer is trying to glean information about your mindset, where you are, what you've been through. How did you get here? Do you take responsibility for your actions? Do I think you need help, any help or services that we can provide? That was the purpose of that. And so you're saying something, this officer otherwise does not know you from a hole in the wall. He doesn't know if you're just joking. And even if you're saying it laughingly, he still has to use the fact that you would say it to a probation officer who you don't even know, what means that this is something that we need to take a closer look at. So you be careful about the comments that you're making to others, even when you believe that it's in jest, because it could put you in a bad situation. You understand that, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
And I do know him. That's what he said at the beginning of the thing. We knew each other from the customer. He's a regular. I just didn't recognize
You're
him.
familiar with him.
Yeah, I was familiar with him. So.
That's not knowing.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, you're right.
I'm familiar with you too. I don't know you. You get that?
Yes.
Okay. And so don't be over familiar with people. It could get you in trouble. Nonetheless, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to do a term of probation because I think, contrary to these statements, that it would be in your best interest as a person who is showing, and I agree, your history was one that was crimes that seem to relate to financial issues. And those crimes haven't taken place well over decades ago. And it looks like you turned your life around, and maybe you're just struggling with some frustration as to how you deal with your relationships or interact in your relationships. At least the last two convictions would suggest that. And so maybe you could benefit from some additional oversight in classes and things that will help you do better with parenting and co-parenting and being a father and a husband, spouse, boyfriend. I'm not sure what role you're playing in that house, but whatever it is, understanding that you work a lot, you're going to be probably depleted. You're going to be probably frustrated sometimes when you come home and the dishes aren't done. So there's a way that you can communicate that effectively because those feelings do matter, but it's the way you communicate it, and you don't get to lash out. You don't get to become abusive or aggressive because some of your needs aren't being met. Understanding now that you see the demand that's on her when she has those children. Some of her needs are probably not being met either. And she doesn't get to lash out on you when you come home from work about the needs that she has. There's a way for you all to communicate and come together so that you can work through your differences and provide for each other in a way that's peaceful, okay? The court's going to deviate from the recommendation. You're going to be sentenced to a term of 9 months probation. While on probation, you're not to engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior. You're not to use, purchase, or possess firearm, ammunition, or weapon of any kind. You're not to use, purchase, or possess alcohol, marijuana, or controlled substance unless you have a valid prescription. You're required to submit to random preliminary breath testing. In your analysis testing, you need to pay the fee for that, okay? You understand?
Yes. I do.
Okay. I'm only gonna order that you do the testing for the 60 days, just so I can figure out if there's an issue that we need to address. If there's been no violations of the no alcohol or drugs, then I will not order you to continue to test. I recognize that you are working several jobs at this point. You're not to be at any bars or nightclubs while you're on probation. I'm going to order that you participate in domestic abuse programming as recommended by probation. And you'll participate in anger management. Okay?
Yes.
You'll continue to work and provide evidence of your employment to your probation officer. Do you have any questions about your probation conditions?
No, ma'am.
You are not eligible for special status, so I will not be able to grant that. Let's see. There's a $75 crime victim rights fee that must be assessed, plus a $50 state minimum cost that also must be assessed. Probation has a $30 per month oversight fee. And you're going to do 9 months, so that's $270 in probation oversight fees. I'm gonna waive any additional discretionary fines and costs. The total fines and costs $395. But you'll make monthly payments on that, so about $44 a month, okay?
Yes.
You'll meet with probation that upcoming week or so that they can go over this judgment of sentence. You'll review and sign it. You'll report to probation virtually, meaning via Zoom, okay?
I have a question. Do I start calling that number I was calling like 5 years ago, the color thing now, or do I go down there and just go down there to them to drop?
You'll wait until you're ordered to do so, and then you'll call the information, because they'll have you register with who you're going to do your jobs with, okay? But they'll first get this order. You're gonna check in with them as soon as I finish this paperwork,
Yeah, thank you.
and you'll go down and check in with probation and make sure they have all accurate information. If your address or any contact information changes, it's your responsibility to update the court, okay? Lastly, there's an advice of rights as to probation. Typically, you would have the right to request early discharge from probation once you completed half the original term ordered by the judge, so long as you've not had any violations within the 3 months preceding that request. However, you are on probation for a domestic violence, you would not be eligible for early discharge, okay?
Yes.
Do you have any questions at this time, sir?
No.
Okay. Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
No, nothing from the people.
We'll get you downstairs in just a moment. Thank you.
His remarks about his household and women were gross. The judge didn't hesitate to point out the misogyny in his attitude and made it clear that his comments reflect deeper issues behind his domestic violence charges. Do you think the judge's approach will make him rethink his mindset? Or are people like him just a lost cause? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more gripping courtroom moments. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.